It was the 5th time this month, and Tyler didn't even pretend to act surprised anymore. He stared blankly at his mother, arms folded across his chest as she stood in the middle of the kitchen like some unshakable pillar of judgment. "You knew the rules," she said, voice cold but calm. "I said no parties. And yet, here we are again." Tyler muttered something under his breath, but she raised an eyebrow. "Louder, please." "I said it wasn't even my party," he snapped. "I just showed up and left the house without asking permission." Again. Silence. His mother, Olivia, was a clinical psychologist who specialized in behavioral development. Her parenting style wasn't just strict, it was methodical. Ever since Dad walked out 3 years ago, she'd doubled down on raising Tyler the right way, which seemed to mean the most controlled way. Tyler had just turned 17. Tall, lanky, and sarcastic, he had one foot in rebellion and the other in confusion about who he was. He wasn't a bad kid, just lost. And lately, it felt like Olivia wasn't just trying to discipline him, she was trying to change him. And not in a normal clean your room kind of way. The house was always quiet, clean, and emotionally cold, like a museum, where nothing could ever be out of place. Everything had a label, a system. Even the fridge was arranged by expiration date and color coordination. Tyler hated it. It felt like the house didn't belong to a family, it belonged to a theory. His room was the only place that felt like his, but even that came with conditions. If he left clothes on the floor, they disappeared and returned folded differently, sometimes suspiciously softer. He'd once found a pink laundry tag on his t-shirt. When he brought it up, Olivia just said, "Oh, it must have been a mix-up." She never yelled, never hit, but she punished with a level of psychological sharpness that Tyler didn't know how to fight. No phones. No games. No music. No talking back. Every week, a new rule. Every month, a new lecture about respect and empathy and gender maturity. Sometimes she said things like, "You know, girls your age handle responsibility better. Maybe you'd understand things better if you walked a mile in someone else's shoes. There's a reason boys are so impulsive, no emotional regulation." It was like she was always disappointed he was born male. The final straw came on a Friday evening. Tyler had skipped attention to hang out at a friend's house, then lied about it. Olivia, as always, found out. She didn't scream. She just sat him down in the dining room, no distractions, no escape, and looked him dead in the eye. "I'm done with this," she said. "Grounding isn't working. Talking isn't working. You lie. You sneak. You disrespect me and yourself." Tyler rolled his eyes. "You need more than consequences. You need the realignment." That word stuck in his ears. Realignment. Like he was a broken machine. "From now on," she said, "your punishments will match your behavior, but they'll also teach. I want to build empathy, self-control, and awareness in you. And you will comply." Tyler laughed. "So what? You're gonna send me to boot camp?" Olivia smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Something like that." The next morning, Tyler's room was locked from the outside. The door opened only when Olivia allowed it. His phone was gone. His clothes had been replaced, casual shorts swapped out with softer, oddly fitted lounge pants. His socks were pastel-colored. There were no t-shirts, just loose-fitting sweaters and button-up tops. "Where are my clothes?" he asked, voice rising. "They're in storage," she replied coolly. "You'll wear what I provide. You've lost the right to choose." This is messed up. No. This is behavior modification. He tried to protest, but it was like arguing with a wall of glass. She'd already planned this out. That afternoon, she handed him a list of chores: laundry, dusting, dishes, and added a final line at the bottom. "All tasks will be done while wearing the assigned attire. No exceptions." Assigned attire? It began subtly. The lounge clothes were soft, almost too soft. The fabric clung to him in strange ways, and he felt self-conscious even though no one could see him. Olivia said nothing at first, watching him with her arms folded as he vacuumed the carpet. "Back straight," she instructed. "Posture matters. Always carry yourself with pride." She corrected him often. On how he folded towels. On how he dusted. On how he stood. It was like she wasn't just making him do chores, she was reshaping how he moved. You slouch too much. Head up. Shoulders back. You walk like you're guilty. I am guilty, he snapped. That's why we're starting here, she replied. He didn't realize it then, but that first day, something had shifted. By day 3, Olivia stopped pretending this was just about grounding. She called him into her room. There, laid out neatly, were a curling iron, hairbrush, and a bottle of rose-scented lotion. I want you to understand the labor of appearance, she said. Sit. Watch. Learn. She demonstrated how to use each tool, then said, Now you try. You're serious? Yes. Tyler hesitated, but under her sharp gaze, he complied. It was awkward at first. He fumbled with the curling iron, burned his finger, and cursed under his breath. Olivia didn't flinch. Beauty requires discipline, she murmured. When he finally looked in the mirror, his hair wasn't girly, not yet, but it was different. Softer. Styled. Less like himself. He didn't like how it made him feel. He also couldn't stop looking. That night, he found it. While reaching for his pajamas, now just long pastel tops, he opened a drawer and froze. There, folded with military precision, was a beige girdle. Old-fashioned. Lacy. Functional. His stomach flipped. He didn't say anything to Olivia. Not that night. But in the morning, it was laid out on his bed, next to a note. Discipline begins at the core. He didn't wear it. Not that day. But the next? He woke up to Olivia's voice, sharp and flat. If you refuse to follow the program, I'll escalate. Do you understand? He swallowed hard and nodded. The girdle was tight, hugging his waist, pulling him in. Uncomfortable but oddly grounding. As if Olivia knew exactly what she was doing. By the end of the week, Tyler wasn't sure who was winning. His reflection had changed subtly, yes, but unmistakably. His posture. His hair. His clothing. The way Olivia spoke to him now, it wasn't just as a mother disciplining a son. It was as a woman training someone new. Someone she hadn't yet named. And deep down, Tyler feared the worst. She didn't just want him to behave. She wanted to remake him completely. Tyler used to wake up and throw on whatever was nearby. But now, his day began with Olivia knocking precisely at 6:30 a.m. sharp. Time to get ready, she'd say, opening his door without waiting for a response. His assigned attire was no longer casual. Today it was a soft knit camisole, a matching pair of high-waisted lounge shorts, and a zip-up hoodie in pale lavender. Feminine but not too obvious. Not yet. Olivia made him sit at her vanity and mimic her exact routine, cleansing, moisturizing, applying under-eye cream, brushing out his now softened and slightly curled hair. You have a delicate face, she noted. Its wasted hiding behind teenage grime. She guided him to hold the brush with grace. Not like a boy in a rush. Gentleness is strength, she'd say. Control your movements. At first, Tyler resented it. But by the 5th morning, he found himself checking the mirror for uneven foundation. One evening, Olivia introduced a new element. I've recorded your voice, she told him. Now I want you to compare it. She played 2 audio clips. One was Tyler's voice, deep, hurried, annoyed. The other was her own, measured, fluid, expressive. I want you to begin speaking more like this. Slower. Softer. No grunting. No slang. You're kidding. Do I look like I'm joking? At first, he tried mocking her voice. But she was unfazed. You will practice for 20 minutes a day. Out loud. To the mirror. I want to see femininity in your tone and posture. Each infraction meant redoing it twice. And she always watched. It wasn't about sounding like a girl yet, but it was about not sounding like a boy. Bit by bit, Tyler's old identity was being erased. His sports posters disappeared from the walls. His clothes were quietly donated. His Xbox mysteriously vanished. His friends stopped texting thanks to a parental notice Olivia had sent out. Even his name started to shift. When he spilled water on the table, Olivia corrected him gently. Careful, dear. Try again, but this time as Tessa. He blinked. What? Just for now. It's part of the process. He refused, of course. But a day later, the note pinned to his mirror read, "You may earn your name back once you've earned your maturity." And for the first time, he wasn't sure what Tyler even meant anymore. Week 3. It was subtle at first: softer socks, tighter briefs. Then Olivia added a camisole daily. And then the girdle returned. But this time she brought more. Laid out neatly on the bed, a soft pink bralette, matching satin panties, a step-in shaper with lace trimming, a nude pantyhose. Tyler stared in disbelief. "I'm not wearing that." "You'll wear what you're given." "I'm not a girl." She said nothing, just turned away. But later that night, after refusing, he found the fridge locked, his room stripped, and only a blanket left on the couch. In the morning, starving and cold, he gave in. And when he stepped into the shaper and bralette, he trembled. Not from fear. From how familiar it already felt. "You walk like a fridge on legs," Olivia said bluntly. So began movement training. She made him carry books on his head, balance while walking in soft ballet flats, practice sitting and standing in controlled movements, crossing ankles, folding hands in the lap. He had to complete daily femininity tasks, sweeping the floor in slippers with exaggerated posture, serving tea with poise, folding laundry with flair. "Every gesture tells the world who you are," she said. "Right now, your body's telling the world you don't know who that is." Soon, Tyler's walk was smoother. His hands stopped shoving into his pockets. He stood straighter, not like a guy trying to look cool, but like someone aware he was being watched. Because in Olivia's house, he always was. Week 5. On the kitchen table one morning sat a gift box tied in gold ribbon. He opened it slowly. Inside, a beginner's makeup kit. Olivia stood nearby, sipping coffee. "Today, you'll learn light coverage and subtle femininity. We'll begin with BB cream and mascara." "I'm not doing this." But she just nodded. Then no lunch, and no unsupervised bathroom breaks. He caved. It started with tinted moisturizer, a little brow shaping, clear lip gloss, mascara. By the end of the week, he didn't recognize himself. His face looked soft. Feminine, yes, but more than that, vulnerable. He hated how natural it looked. And worse, how part of him didn't want to wash it off. It happened on a Sunday. "Put this on," Olivia said, handing him a full outfit, a lavender pleated skirt, cream blouse, tights, and low heels. Tyler stared, horrified. "No way." But she was already dialing a number. "My sister's coming over," she said casually. "She's never met my daughter. Today she will." "You're what?" "You've been grounded as Tyler. But you'll spend today as Tessa." He screamed, refused, tried to run. But by then, the locks were changed. His phone was gone. His world was hers. And when Aunt Marcy arrived and smiled sweetly at Tessa, he felt the world tilt beneath him. He curtsied out of pure survival instinct. That night, Tyler sat on his bed, still dressed, makeup half faded. "I'm losing my mind," he whispered. He looked at the mirror. He didn't see rebellion anymore. He saw a broken boy wrapped in a growing shell of femininity. Not just outside, but inside, too. He didn't want to feel prettier today. But he did. He didn't want Olivia's approval. But part of him craved it. He cried softly, then wiped his tears with a monogrammed lace handkerchief she had embroidered with Tessa. And for the first time, he didn't immediately throw it away. 6 weeks into the transformation, Olivia invited her close friends for a quiet evening. Tyler, now routinely dressed as Tessa, was told to help set the table. "But I'm not wearing that," he argued, staring at the soft mauve dress she laid out. "You are," she said. "And you'll wear the heels too." "No one's supposed to see me like this." Olivia simply smiled. "They've already heard about you." Tyler's heart thudded. Heard what? That evening, her guests arrived. 3 stylish, middle-aged women who greeted Tessa warmly. "So this is your daughter," one said with a wink. Olivia took a sip of wine. "Isn't she just darling?" Tyler burned with embarrassment, forced to serve wine. Clear plates, curtsy, and respond in his now refined, softened voice. He felt exposed, humiliated. And yet he obeyed every cue, every correction, because he didn't know how not to anymore. That night, Tyler finally broke. "I'm done, Olivia," he snapped. "You've had your fun. You said I was grounded, not erased." Her look turned cold. "Oh, sweetheart," she said quietly. "You're not erased. You're refined." He shook his head, pulling off the wig, wiping at his makeup. "I'm not her. I never was." But when he stormed to his room, everything was gone. Again. His backup clothes? Gone. His old journals? Burned. His savings? Transferred. There was no Tyler to run back to anymore. And when he opened the front door, a neighbor stood there, staring at the confused, flushed boy in pantyhose and smeared lipstick. He slammed the door. The locks clicked behind him. Left alone, Tyler rummaged through Olivia's study for proof, anything that could explain this madness. In her locked drawer, he found it, a soft pink journal labeled Tessa's Growth. Inside were daily notes. Day 4. Resisted lip gloss. Refused to say please. Extra training required. Day 12. Looks at himself longer in the mirror now. Day 21. Called himself I while wearing the skirt. Progress. It wasn't discipline. It was conditioning. She hadn't grounded him. She'd programmed him. And the worst entry of all. Week 8 goal. Tessa will request femininity voluntarily. He dropped the diary in horror. But a whisper in his own mind said, "She's right. You're almost there, aren't you?" The next day, Tyler did something he hadn't dared to do in weeks. He waited until Olivia was gone. Broke into her email. Contacted his father. "Dad, please help me. Olivia's gone too far." He waited hours. That evening, the doorbell rang. Tyler rushed to answer only to freeze when he saw Olivia standing there with a stern-looking man. Not Dad. A therapist. "This is Dr. Myers," Olivia said gently. "He specializes in gender identity distress." "You called a shrink?" Dr. Myers simply smiled. "Your mom told me everything, Tessa." Tyler shook. "She's not my mom." But Olivia just pulled him close, arms wrapped around his waist, and whispered. Tyler made that mistake too. But Tessa, she knows who she is. That night, Tyler had a vivid dream. He was back to normal. Hoodie jeans, his friends laughing at a dumb joke. His voice low. His body loose and relaxed. He was free. But then, a mirror. He turned toward it, and the reflection showed Tessa in full dress, perfectly done makeup, smiling softly. And she whispered, "I'm not going back. Are you?" He screamed and woke up only to find Olivia gently brushing his hair. "Bad dream?" she asked, as if nothing was wrong. Tyler tried to fight her off, but his hands reached to touch his curls, to adjust his satin camisole. And that's when he knew. He was still dreaming. Only now he didn't know where the dream ended and reality began. Olivia announced they were going shopping. "You need a new dress for brunch," she said, casually brushing Tyler's hair into pigtails. "I'm not going out like this," he muttered. But when they arrived at the mall, no one looked twice. Not the shop attendants. Not the barista, who smiled warmly at Tessa. Not even the other girls trying on dresses. One even complimented his heels. Tyler was stunned. Was it that easy to pass now? Had he already become what she saw? He didn't know what scared him more, being mistaken for a girl, or the strange thrill that surged through his chest when it happened. Olivia had one more surprise. They arrived at a sunny little bistro patio. Already seated were 3 people. Tyler's father, his aunt, his cousin. He froze. "I can't, Olivia, please." But she whispered firmly, "If you run now, you'll be running from yourself." Then she smiled and waved. "This is my daughter, Tessa." The table looked stunned. Tyler's father blinked. "Tessa?" he asked slowly. Olivia smiled wider. "She's come a long way." There was a long pause. Then the aunt nodded. "She's beautiful." His cousin smiled. "Very brave." And his father? He hesitated, eyes scanning his child, before nodding slowly. "I didn't see this coming. But, okay." Tyler's head spun. The world tilted. Was this real? Or was this just another layer of the trap? Back home, Olivia sat him down. "I have one last gift for you," she said. From a drawer, she pulled out a pink envelope. Inside was a certificate. Legal name change, Tessa Grace Ward. He stood up fast. "You forged my signature?" "No," she said softly. "You signed it weeks ago. You just don't remember." His heart pounded. No, I never." But she turned the document around. And there it was. His handwriting. His signature. Tessa Grace Ward. Tyler backed away. Everything felt unreal. He ran to the mirror. Makeup. Hair. Skirt. Earrings. Lip gloss. And a reflection that didn't look shocked anymore. Just resigned. Maybe even curious. He touched the mirror, breathing heavily. "Who am I now?" And Olivia's voice, behind him, gentle, proud, final. "You're not grounded anymore. You're free." The story closes on a razor's edge between acceptance and collapse. Tyler, now introduced to his family as Tessa, sees that the world might not reject this version of himself. But the question remains. Did he choose this, or was it chosen for him? Will he escape, fight back, or surrender? What would you do in Tessa's shoes? Could you forgive Olivia? Is this empowerment or manipulation? Comment your predictions. Should Tessa embrace her new life or fight to take Tyler back?